how do you practice consistently? How do you make sure that every single day you practice at the same time, or at least, the hours or the minutes that you decided to practice? And most people think this is very hard, that, I decided, and then, I don't follow through, and something happens, and then I forget about it, and then I have to get back into it. And, and to be honest, every time I decide to practice like this, then I fail to do it. So I just keep out of it. I don't want to do any plans anymore because I just fail following through on them. That's the normal pattern. And it's hard to be consistent because that's how it is for everyone. If there's any single basic fundamental skill that we all struggle with, it's consistency. It's doing, making a plan and then saying, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to practice every single morning. Try that out for size, right? I'm going to get up 15 minutes before I usually do, and I'm going to start practicing in the morning. Why would I do that? To tell my brain that this instrument and this activity is the most important thing in my life. So it's the first thing, right? First things first. Just try that and see what your evaluation process is when you wake up early in the morning, right? You might, the evening before, you might have went, yeah, man, I'm going to do it. Right? Every single morning, maybe for 30 minutes. I'm going to steal that time away, and nobody's up, right? I'm the only way up, and I'm going to sit in the living room or in my little room by myself and practice 30 minutes. So I'm set for the day. I can, visualize scale shapes all day. I can do all these things. And then you try to follow through. But the guy who's waking up in the morning is a completely different guy or woman than the one who made the arrangements, right? Who planned on doing that. So now you got, I can do it tomorrow, right? I need my sleep. I'm going to be tired all day if I get up right now. And then blah, 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 right? Yakety yak, yakety yak. And here we go reevaluating. So what's the trick? It is to not reevaluate. And then to keep on keeping on trying to be consistent. Most people who try to be consistent all the time are consistent. They're more consistent than anybody else. But you can never, there's no switch in the brain that can make you be consistent, and it's easy for the rest of your life. I'm sorry, but that is not like that. You can create habits that are easier to follow through on than if you didn't have the habit. If you have a habit of every single morning you get up 30 minutes before you need to, and then you practice first thing, then you've done that for 2 months, then what's the first thing you think about when you get up? Practicing, right? It's a pattern in the brain that you build into it. But the way to get to that point is to decide not to evaluate. You might have decided to practice when you get home from work first thing, but you're tired when you come home from work, right? You get in the door and you put your butt in the couch, or you open up a beer, or whatever it is that you do when you come home from work. Now you deserve some space, right? And so that's your habit. That's what happens naturally in the body. It's not because you can't practice, but it's a habitual thing, right? Opening the door in the afternoon from Monday to Friday. If you do that, then you naturally want to have that beer, or you naturally want to put your butt in the couch, whatever you want to do, whatever you usually do. But when you start practicing, you have to break that habit, and that's painful. So you have to stop evaluating, because, the person I have in front of me right now is able to make all kinds of decisions about what to do in the future. But the person that's going to do all that, right? You're the leadership right now. You're the executive level. And you can see it. That's totally, if I did that, my guitar skills would just go through the roof. If I did this and this and that would be amazing. But the guy on the floor, the factory worker who has to do all the crap that you told him to or told her to, not so much, right? It's a different person. We're schizophrenic as human beings. And we feel that when we wake up in the morning, we're a different person with different values. Your whole value system about what's important in life is just turned upside down. It's not guitar anymore. It's not your kids. Those are not important in the morning. It's sleeping. Sleeping in, that's what's important. So we really have to work on not evaluating. So you wake up in the morning, or you come home from work and you decided to practice consistently. So the whole trick to being consistent is to shut up, right? Don't do that. Don't evaluate. So don't think about practicing so much as to not evaluate. That's what you're thinking about, the indirect approach, right? So you come home from work and you go, oh, don't think. Don't say that. Don't go, hey, maybe I should. We don't want to hear that. I don't want to go into it. I decided to practice, so that's what we're doing. Executive level from above, right? That's the plan. So I go practice. And then the same thing in the morning, you wake up and you go, maybe, don't evaluate. That's the trick. Because if you, this is the magic of it. If you don't evaluate, you're going to do it. If there's something you think is valuable and you stop the evaluation process, then your body moves and you're doing it. Same thing in the afternoon. So that is basically the trick of being consistent. It's not focusing on doing it. It's focusing on stopping the evaluation about whether to do it or not. You already made that decision, so there's no evaluation. Then after a week, after a month, we might have that little discussion again with the executive level in the business and say, well, now we have followed through on the executive decision for this month, and we did it every single morning. We did the practicing, but I feel that, and then we can reevaluate and then make a new decision that we follow through on, but we never evaluate in the morning. Also, another trick, just short before I go. When you make arrangements and you want to be consistent, well, you don't think so much about the mass of what you do. So if consistency is in your focus, and I want to do it every day and I want to do it, which is a very good idea. In the morning when I come home from work, let's say that's your plan, then make the challenge so small that you sound like an idiot if you start evaluating. So this could be the challenge. I'm going to get up for 30 minutes before I need to be somewhere, right? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and grab my guitar and put myself in the practicing position. And then I can put down my guitar and go right back to bed and sleep for 25 minutes. If that's what I want, right? That's the challenge. So what do you think will happen if you get out of bed and you grab your guitar and you sit down? Then you practice more often than not, right? So and it's so small that when you're waking up and you say, okay, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to grab my guitar and look at the whatever, put on a jam track. And if I do that for 2 seconds, I can go back to bed. Oh, I can do that. And as you get out of bed, as you get up, your body starts, it gets online, and you pick up your guitar and you get in state because the instrument and the pick, right? And then you become another person with a different value system that thinks that guitar practicing is important. And then 9 out of 10 times, maybe 99 out of 100 times, you actually practice. Same thing with getting home from work. All you need to do is to go into that room or put your butt in the couch, pick up the guitar, and that's it. Right? If you do just that, then the mass of practicing, the hours, the minutes of practicing will follow automatically. If you like practicing guitar, that is, right? So with these two things, stop the evaluation once you made a decision and make the challenge of doing it, of being consistent, so small it's ridiculous to evaluate. Now, I don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. I don't want to sit in a chair with the guitar for 2 seconds and then go back to bed. Just listen to yourself, right? It makes no sense. With that said, I hope to see you in one of the next videos here, and do hope that you will subscribe, because that's what makes all of this happen. So if you are getting value from these videos, please subscribe, not because it's necessary, but because you're helping me. Thanks. So see you in another video.